Caught on camera on KGW News, why police think the man who set this playground on fire may have targeted it as a hate crime. Plus, a suspected serial killer already behind bars, now charged with a fourth local murder.
The least he could give us, the respect to tell us why.
Then, a heartbreaking case that highlights the dangers of fentanyl comes full circle.
I miss every last thing about him.
The new message from a Portland teen's mother to the dealer who sold death in disguise. And later, a big breakthrough to help save an ocean ecosystem.
This is the one we've been waiting for.
As scientists reveal what's behind the death of billions of sea stars. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm David Mulco. New at 11, 2 Gresham families are out of their homes but alive tonight after a fire likely sparked by a runaway lithium-ion battery. Alma McCarty spoke with friends and firefighters about the very real dangers involved. Alma?
Yeah, David, this is certainly not the first time we have seen fires started by these rechargeable batteries either. A Gresham fire marshal tells me not all of them are up to the same standards, and unsupervised, things can easily go wrong.
Recalling what happened Sunday evening in Gresham.
Seeing my best friend just crying and holding her babies with just smoke all over their faces.
Shaylin Smith can't help but feel emotional.
Whew. And I grabbed her kids because those kids are like my kids. They had no shoes on, smoke everywhere, and they were just so devastated and so traumatized.
As the fire forced the family out of this duplex, she tried to calm them down.
Everything can be replaced, but you cannot be replaced. Your pets can't be replaced. Your neighbor can't be replaced. Everyone made it out alive. Everyone made it safe by the grace of God.
The home, boarded up, surrounded by debris and unlivable for now, caught fire, crews believe, due to the failure of a lithium-ion battery that was charging inside the neighbor's unit.
It had exploded and the flames just got completely out of hand before they can get a control on it.
Always a chance for things to go wrong with these lithium-ion batteries.
Lieutenant Deputy Fire Marshal Brandon Baird explains there's a couple factors that could spell trouble. For example, cheaper replacement batteries.
In the manufacturing process, they're taking shortcuts. The thermal cutoffs aren't being installed, and so we're seeing those overheat during the charging process.
Larger batteries using more power for bikes, scooters, and RC cars can often pose more dangers, as do older or broken batteries.
Always attend the charging process. When it's done charging, remove it from the charger base and unplug the charger base. Always store it at room temperature if possible.
While the homeowners decide whether the house can be repaired, Shaylin has this to say about the accidental fire.
These things are freak accidents, they're accidents, not his fault. It's really nobody's fault,
Shaylin also started a GoFundMe for her friend to help pay for food, clothes, and school supplies for her kids while they are staying in a motel. We'll have a link to that on KGW.com. David?
Yeah, some really good practical advice as well when it comes to charging those batteries safely. Appreciate it, Alma. In an update tonight, Tigard police say they have arrested a man who attacked an 82-year-old woman. He's accused of following her on the trail that runs right behind the Tigard Public Library on Sunday around 6:45 in the evening before attacking her and taking off. The woman was left unconscious on the ground. The suspect was recorded on surveillance cameras, and thanks to tips from the public, police say they were able to identify him tonight as 18-year-old Marcellus Ford.
This is a very unusual case for us, and the trail is very well traveled, which is why it's highly concerning.
Some cyclists found the victim after the attack and called for help. The woman was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Ford now faces a second-degree assault charge. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, the man accused of killing 3 women and dumping their bodies across the Portland area has now been charged with a 4th murder. A grand jury indicted Jesse Calhoun for the death of 22-year-old Kristen Smith, who was reported missing in December of 2022. Police and prosecutors have not said how they linked Calhoun to the deaths of Smith and 3 other women or how he knew them. Today, Smith's mother made a plea for answers.
We hope that Jesse Calhoun, if he has any heart and soul in him at all, will give us the least he could give us the respect to tell us why. Why our girls? How? Just tell us.
Investigators previously linked Calhoun to a fifth victim, Ashley Real, but no charges have been filed in that case. In Southeast Portland, newly released surveillance video shows the moment someone started a fire on a preschool playground. The man walks up to the slide structure Sunday, and a few seconds later, you'll see it here, a bit of a glow, what appears to be flames. The fire torched the playground. It's part of the Cairo Academy that serves immigrant and refugee families. Investigators now say the school may have been targeted as part of a bias crime.
We had no idea what was burning. We were just monitoring to make sure it wasn't coming this way.
This was about safety, it was about sense of belonging, it was about community pride. So that is what is lost more than the dollars.
Cairo is raising donations through a GoFundMe to try and rebuild. They still plan to welcome kids to the new school in September. And wildfire season could pick up as we track some potentially extreme temperatures next week. At this point in the year, we've seen more wildfires break out than this time last year, though the amount of acres burned is way down. The Northwest Interagency Coordination Center, though, says it expects August, September, and early October to be hot in the Northwest. And it reminds folks once again to be extra cautious not to do anything that could spark a wildfire. Hey, you know what? It turns out when it comes to that heat, we're looking at a weather impact alert next week. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino here with a first look at what is on the way. Matt?
Yeah, David, our hottest weather of the summer so far on schedule for Monday and Tuesday, especially on Monday as we see hot weather all across the Northwest, especially the coast, which has had a pretty cool summer. Nothing hot. We've had several 90s in Portland, but the coast hasn't really had any heat waves. It's going to get hot at the coast even this weekend. We're looking at triple digits on Monday, right around 100 degrees. Still very hot on Tuesday. And these will be the hottest days of the summer so far. Now, our longest stretch throughout the year where the record high temperatures are 100 degrees or higher, well, we're in the middle of it or the beginning of it. August 2nd to the 17th, that's 16 days in a row where all of the record highs are over 100. So that tells you that this is a time of year when we get hot. It shows you what we're capable of, right? Okay, the hottest day so far this year is back on July 16th. We hit 97. I think we easily eclipse that on Monday and be close to that on Tuesday, actually. And we can be into the mid-90s well into September. We've hit 95 as late as September 27th. So there's still plenty of time for things to heat up. But the other way to talk about, look at these clouds, by the way. These lenticular clouds, just beautiful. There's rain already reaching the Oregon coast right now. That's coming our way for tomorrow. A wet, cool day for a change of pace. David?
Hey, could definitely use the rain. Thanks, Matt. In our homeless crisis, the city of Portland has plans to open its first outdoor day center. It's slated for an empty gated lot near Northwest Gleason and 6th in Old Town, right across the street from the Pacific Northwest College of Art. This one will be called the Oasis. It's meant to be a place homeless people can go during the day for food, bathrooms, and housing services.
I think there's a lot of need for that. And I see people out here all the time that don't have anywhere to go. That would mean another place where I can rest, maybe get some services plugged in with.
A tiny home village used to be in the same lot there, but closed a few years ago, in part because of violence in the neighborhood. A city spokesperson saying the city and police have committed more resources to address those previous problems. The day center is scheduled to open later this summer. Meanwhile, another day center, one the mayor has championed in the past, says it may be forced to shut down because of lack of funding. Our Blair Best took a look at why on tonight's episode of The Story. You can watch that anytime. It's on our free streaming TV app. That is KGW+. Oh, haven't heard that in a while. It's election night in Washington with voters in Clark, Cowlitz, and Skamania counties deciding on a handful of local races. One closely watched race is playing out in the Gorge in Stevenson. That's where current city councilor Lucy Losser, a transgender woman who was arrested for protesting topless earlier this summer, is running for mayor. Early results, though, have her last in the race, trailing far behind Jenny Collins-Taylor with 65% of the vote there. On the ballot in Clark County, a proposition that would lift a levy cap to provide more funding for the Fort Vancouver Regional Library so far is on track to pass 53-47.